China, a global infrastructure power, has recently made an unexpected decision. The government has begun to stop many large infrastructure projects in developed areas, and even trade development projects in some coastal cities have been suspended. What is even more surprising is that after stopping these developed city projects, the Chinese government has turned its focus to the relatively backward infrastructure and development level in the West, especially Xinjiang. In August this year, the Chinese government announced that 25 state-owned enterprises that signed cooperation agreements with Xinjiang will jointly promote more than 180 projects with a total investment of more than $150 billion. These projects cover a number of key areas such as energy development and infrastructure construction, and are scheduled to be completed by 2028. Hearing this news, many people can't help but ask, isn't most of Xinjiang a desert? Why would the Chinese government choose to increase investment and development in such a place? Let's learn about it together in the following video. If you like our video content, please click to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can receive all our latest video content. Now, let's get into today's topic. You may not know that Xinjiang is very large, with a total area of 1.66 million square kilometers, equivalent to the size of 7 United Kingdoms. Sounds shocking, right? But did you know that although Xinjiang has vast land, deserts account for a considerable proportion, about 440,000 square kilometers, accounting for almost 64% of the country's desert area and nearly 26% of Xinjiang's total area. Xinjiang has China's 3 major deserts, the Taklamakan Desert, the Gurbantungut Desert, and the Kumtag Desert, which are also among the world's top 10 deserts. This makes Xinjiang one of the most serious desertification areas in the world, especially since most of the deserts here are mobile sand, and it is very difficult to prevent and control sand. The characteristics of desert areas are dry climate, scarce precipitation, and strong winds. The ecological environment is very fragile. It is basically difficult for people to settle in such places for a long time, so the population density in Xinjiang is relatively low. From the above information, you may think of the boundless Gobi Desert, thinking that this land is short of resources and economically backward. But in fact, the situation is not what you think. Although the desertification problem in Xinjiang is very serious, this land has become a huge energy treasure house under the development and utilization of China. It is understood that Xinjiang's resources cover a variety of energy sources such as coal, natural gas, and oil. For example, energy projects such as West-East Gas Transmission and Xinjiang Power Transmission. Through these transmission channels, coal, natural gas, and electricity are continuously transported from Xinjiang to eastern China, supporting the production and development of economically developed regions. First is photovoltaic power generation. Because the desert area has long sunshine hours and abundant sunshine, it has become an important base for photovoltaic power generation. According to the latest information I have learned, Xinjiang currently has 2 large photovoltaic power stations, namely Urumqi Midong Photovoltaic Power Station and Shache Photovoltaic Storage Integrated Photovoltaic Power Station. Urumqi Midong Photovoltaic Power Station is the world's largest single photovoltaic project, with a total installed capacity of 3.5 million kilowatts and an area of about 200,000 acres, which is very large. The installed capacity of Shache Integrated Photovoltaic Power Station is 2 million kilowatts, and it is a photovoltaic power station that has been connected to the grid. According to data from China Electric Power Corporation, Xinjiang's industrial power generation, above a certain scale, reached 491.21 billion kilowatt hours in 2023, a year-on-year increase of 4.5%, ranking 5th in the country. In terms of power transmission, in 2023, Xinjiang's power transmission reached 126.2 billion kilowatt hours, and the cumulative power transmission has exceeded 740.8 billion kilowatt hours. According to data, Xinjiang Power Transmission has brought more than $17.5 billion in direct economic benefits to Xinjiang's power industry and increased tax revenue by about $4.5 billion. This figure only reflects the economic value directly created. The completion of the 4 Xinjiang Power Transmission channels has also directly driven the investment of about $12.6 billion in related industries such as power sources, while creating 28,000 jobs and contributing about $1.9 billion to Xinjiang's GDP each year. It can be said that Xinjiang Power Transmission has become one of the important driving forces for Xinjiang's economic and social development. Simply put, this electricity is enough to meet the needs of China's 1.4 billion people for more than half a year. What is even more exciting is that as of April this year, Xinjiang's total installed capacity of power grids has reached 150 million kilowatts, of which the installed capacity of new energy is 70.021 million kilowatts. By July, Xinjiang's installed capacity of new energy has exceeded 80.038 million kilowatts, and the proportion of new energy in Xinjiang's power structure has exceeded 50% for the first time. It is expected that by the end of the year, the installed capacity of new energy will exceed 90 million kilowatts, and by then, new energy will become Xinjiang's largest power source for the first time. In addition to these huge photovoltaic power stations, Xinjiang also has abundant energy resources, such as oil and natural gas. As far as I know, Xinjiang's oil and gas resources are very rich and concentrated. Among the proven reserves, the oil reserves of the Yungar Basin, Darim Basin, and Tuha Basin rank first in the country, while the reserves of natural gas rank second in the country. According to specific data, in 2023, Xinjiang's oil and gas production reached 66.06 million tons, ranking first in the country for 3 consecutive years. In addition to oil and natural gas, Xinjiang's coalbed methane resources are also very rich. Coalbed methane, also called gas, has similar properties to natural gas, and the predicted resource volume reaches 7.51 trillion cubic meters, accounting for 26% of the country. Among them, the predicted resource volumes of oil and natural gas are 23 billion tons and 17.5 trillion cubic meters respectively, which are also ranked first in the country. In addition, relying on local high-quality coalbed methane resources, Xinjiang Energy Enterprises has developed a coal-to-gas project with an annual output of 5.5 billion cubic meters. At present, the first phase of the project has been completed with a production scale of 1.35 billion cubic meters. What is even more exciting is that China Energy Corporation also plans to invest 170 billion yuan to build the second phase of the coal-to-oil project, which is expected to be completed and put into production by the end of 2027. In addition to rich oil and gas resources, Xinjiang also has huge mineral resources. There is a place known as the geological holy pit here, the number 3 vein, which is the first pegmatite spodumene mine developed in China. The resources in this mining area are very rich. Among the more than 140 known minerals in the world, Xinjiang accounts for 86 species, especially rare metals such as lithium, beryllium, and tantalum. The reserves, scale, and variety of minerals are rare in the world. In addition, there are rich coal resources underground in Xinjiang. According to data from the China Coal Administration, Xinjiang's predicted coal resources reserves reached 2.19 trillion tons, accounting for 40.6% of the country's predicted reserves. Although Xinjiang's coal resources have not been fully developed in the past due to limitations such as mining technology and transportation conditions, in recent years, Xinjiang's coal production has been growing at a double-digit rate every year, from 190 million tons in 2018 to 413 million tons in 2023. According to the plan, by 2025, Xinjiang's annual coal production capacity is expected to exceed 460 million tons, and its output will exceed 400 million tons. From the above various energy resources, we can more clearly understand why the Chinese government and enterprises are willing to reduce investment in developed cities and instead invest $150 billion in this Western region, where even the infrastructure is not complete. It is understood that there are 23 projects in the investment plan involving coal to oil, coal to gas, and new energy-based construction, with a total investment of more than $25 billion. So, why has Xinjiang, with such a large energy resource, only started to invest and develop vigorously until now? In fact, in 2010, the Chinese Academy of Sciences published an article pointing out that Xinjiang is a super region of energy resources in China. Although many resources have not been discovered or effectively mined in the past due to the limitations of geophysical exploration technology, exploration conditions, and severe desertification, Xinjiang's energy potential has gradually emerged as resources have been explored over the years. Today, Xinjiang has been established as a national strategic guarantee base for energy resources. This year's Xinjiang Mining Rights Transfer Project Promotion Conference involved 12 types of minerals such as oil, natural gas, and coal, and 127 mining rights blocks, which also set the largest record for the scale of mining rights transfer in Xinjiang's history. As early as 2012 to 2023, the Chinese government established 2,552 branches in Xinjiang, with total assets exceeding $270 billion, cumulative investment projects exceeding 50,000, and completed investment amounts as high as $76 billion. These investments are actually laying the foundation for Xinjiang today. From the data, during this period, Xinjiang added 62,200 kilometers of roads, with a total mileage of 217,300 kilometers. The total mileage of national and provincial trunk roads is 36,700 kilometers, of which expressways, first class, reach 10,700 kilometers, and second class and above roads account for as high as 69.8%. Almost all cities have access to expressways. In terms of railways, Xinjiang already has 3 main railway lines, with an operating mileage of 8,768 kilometers in 2022, an increase of nearly 85% compared with 10 years ago. In addition, Xinjiang has also made remarkable achievements in desert control. So far, Xinjiang has built 46 national desertification land closed protection areas, with a total protected area of 8.31 million mu. In 2022 alone, Xinjiang built and continued to build 4 desertification land closed protection areas, with an additional protected area of 228,400 mu, and completed the desertification land control area of 6.9898 million mu, exceeding 74% of the annual plan. In terms of sand control, many firsts have appeared in Xinjiang. These investments and infrastructure construction have also created favorable conditions for economic growth. In the first quarter of 2024, Xinjiang's GDP reached $60 billion, a year-on-year increase of 5.6%. The total value of imports and exports was $13 billion, a year-on-year increase of 42.7%, which was 37.7 percentage points higher than the national growth rate and ranked second in the country. Therefore, once China's new round of investment in Xinjiang is effectively implemented, Xinjiang will undoubtedly become an important driving force for the country's industrial development. After all, even if China increases infrastructure and industrial investment in more developed regions, all efforts will be in vain without sufficient and stable energy supply. To not miss out on our future projects and news updates, please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. We will continue to provide you with more exciting and interesting content.